Have you ever heard of a law that's basically a giant societal reset button? I'm talking about a way to completely erase debt, wipe out inequality, and it happens every 50 years. Well, it's a real ancient law. It's called the Jubilee, and you'll be surprised how relevant its ideas still are today. So let's dive in.
Seriously, just think about that for a second. Wiping the slate totally clean. A complete do-over, not just for you, but for the whole of society's mistakes and burdens. Sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? But believe it or not, ancient biblical law had this exact idea built right in.
And we're not talking about some vague philosophical concept here. Nope. This was a set of actual written-down laws. They were designed to be the ultimate reset button, really, a way to stop things like generational poverty and massive inequality from spiraling out of control and destroying a nation from the inside out.
Okay, so how did this system work? It actually had 2 cycles. The first one was called the Sabbath year, and it happened every 7 years. Pretty simple, the land gets a break, no farming, and any debts you had were kind of put on pause. But, and this is the important part, that was only temporary. The second cycle, the Jubilee Year, that was something else entirely. We're talking a whole different level.
This one only rolled around once every 50 years, so once in a generation, really. And this wasn't just hitting the pause button. Oh no, this was a full-blown, complete restoration. All debts, gone. Poof, permanently canceled. And any land that had been sold, it went right back to the original family it belonged to. It was this radical social and economic reset, specifically designed to make sure wealth didn't just end up in the hands of a few, and that families weren't trapped in poverty forever.
So this incredible law, it wasn't just some dusty old idea in a book. It was about to play a huge role, a central role, in a massive, fateful turning point for the ancient Israelites.
And the timing. Oh man, the timing was supposed to be absolutely perfect. Picture this. The Israelites are standing right there, at the very edge of the Promised Land, and the cosmic calendar is about to tick over to the 50th Jubilee since creation itself. This was it. This was meant to be the day of release, the moment they would finally claim their inheritance.
Let's just put this on a quick timeline to see how it all lines up. They leave Egypt in the year 2448. It's just 2 years later, and boom, they're right there at the border of their new home. Everything is building up to this one moment. So they're told to send 12 spies into the land, to check it out, get a sneak peek of this amazing inheritance that's waiting for them.
But here's the twist. What should have been the biggest, most incredible celebration in their entire history was about to turn into a complete tragedy. And it's a tragedy that would change the meaning of this specific day forever.
You won't believe this. After 40 days of scouting out the land, the spies get back on the exact day the Jubilee trumpet was supposed to sound, the 10th day of the 7th month. The stage is perfectly set. This is supposed to kick off the party of a lifetime.
But 10 of the 12 spies came back, and their report was just dripping with fear. They talked about the challenges, the giants they saw, and basically they decided it was impossible. They came back with a story of defeat before the fight even began. But then you have the other 2 spies, Caleb and Joshua. They saw the exact same stuff, the same land, the same people, and came back with a completely different take. They didn't see some impossible threat. They saw an opportunity. Their report, it was all about faith. So there it was. The people had a choice to make. Listen to the voice of faith or the voice of fear. And they chose fear. And because they refused to go in and take their inheritance, that great Jubilee celebration, it was lost. That day, which should have been all about freedom and joy, instead became a solemn day of repentance, the Day of Atonement, a yearly reminder of what they'd given up.
Okay, so what are we supposed to take away from all this? This is way more than just a cool history lesson. The whole idea of the Jubilee points to a much deeper truth, one that goes way beyond land or money. It's really about the currency of forgiveness.
Just think about it like this for a second. In this whole system of thought, every sin is basically a kind of debt. When you wrong somebody, you now owe them. It's a simple idea, but understanding this one analogy is really the key to unlocking what the Jubilee means for us, personally, today.
And this isn't just me making a connection. It's spelled out super clearly in the Lord's Prayer. You see how the words debts and sins are used interchangeably? That's not an accident. Forgiving a sin is the spiritual version of canceling a financial debt. They're basically 2 sides of the very same coin. Now this leads us to a really fascinating and honestly kind of counterintuitive idea, and that is how being the victim of injustice can actually become a source of incredible spiritual authority. So check out the legal dynamic this sets up. If a sin is a debt, then the person who was wronged, the victim, is now the creditor. And in this system, only the creditor has the right to forgive the debt. A judge can enforce the law, they can make someone pay up, but they can't actually grant forgiveness. That power belongs only to the one who was wrong.
So you can see how this creates this incredible pathway to real authority. Step 1, you experience injustice. That makes you a creditor. Step 2, you make the deliberate choice to cancel that debt. You choose to forgive. And then, step 3, in that very act, you gain this incredible moral and spiritual authority. You now hold the keys to release others because you've gone through the process yourself.
And why does this even matter? Why is this process so critical? Because it's basically a training ground for real, true leadership. It's what forges a heart that can handle power with both justice and mercy. It creates people who don't just want to rule, they want to restore.
Okay, so let's bring this all home. What does this mean for you and me right now? Well, this ancient idea isn't just some dusty old history lesson. It's actually a deeply personal and really powerful call to action.
So here it is, the big takeaway. In biblical tradition, there's this thing called the Feast of Tabernacles, which is all about reaching a state of ultimate joy and spiritual fullness. But listen, there are no shortcuts to get there. The only path to that celebration goes directly through the Jubilee. It means that becoming a forgiver, well, it isn't some optional side quest. It's the main qualification.
And in the end, this whole principle of forgiveness just explodes onto a cosmic scale. The ultimate goal is a universal jubilee where absolutely everything is made right. It's this incredible vision where all of creation is finally set free, reconciled, just like it says in this amazing passage.
And that brings it all right back here to us, right now. In our own lives, every one of us is holding on to debts, some big, some small. So the final question is a pretty simple one, but it's a big one. What debt are you ready to forgive? What jubilee are you ready to declare today?